Hey, what's up guys, it's Tunes here with a new review on these two products right here. We have the Delux M800 Pro, which was sent to me by Mech Keys, so much appreciated to them for sending this mouse out. They offer a lot of new Chinese mice that are released quite often, and they have a bunch of budget-friendly options there too. And then second, we have the Kuroson SpeedPad that is about to release on July 20th, I believe. So I got an early review unit sent out by the owner Kicks. So thank you guys for sending these products out for review. And on the mousepad itself, it's just going to be my first impressions since the release date is in a few days. I really want to put some hours into this pad since I just released it and give a long-term review, but I do want to give my thoughts right out of the box. And the mouse I've had for about 4 months now, so I will have a somewhat long-term review on this mouse here and why it's a good option for only 50 bucks. So yeah, thanks guys for tuning in, and let's get right into the review. So let's get right into the Delux M800. This is recently released, I think like 6 months ago or something. It's a second lineup from the original M800, and they really only improved the sensor, which is a 3395 now, and they improved the feet and the switches. That's, as far as I know, the major improvements. They still have not upgraded the side buttons. It's very dense and hollow feeling, but the clicks are a major upgrade from the GM 4.0s. They are Hano pink dots, so they're very light and tactile, which I really love. These are probably my favorite switches. They're not as good as like the switches are in the Lamzu or even the X2, but that's really just the mold design on the switch implementation, so not the switch's fault at all. But it's still a great switch feel and sound for only a price point of $50, which this mouse comes in on Amazon for. The scroll wheel is about the same as the original, and I do have the white model, which comes in at 72 grams, which is a bit on the heavier side, but for 50 bucks, you can't really complain too much. The shape is not the most unique shape. It's between the Viper and the Viper Mini. A lot of people say this is a Viper Mini clone, and that's just not true at all. It's about between the Viper and Viper Mini. It's a bit larger than the Viper Mini, so if you're looking for the classic Viper Mini feel, you're really not going to get that here, unfortunately. So that's one of my cons. I really wish they just went with a smaller size, because this just kind of lays in the middle between them. It's like, what's kind of the point? This will be more of a claw focused mouse, but you can fingertip it if you have larger hands. But for me personally, it's just too big, and I'm not a big fan of the shape. But when I do grip this mouse, I usually grip it like this with my palm hovering and my fingers curled. It's a bit of a hybrid mix between fingertip and claw, and that's really the only way I can get a good grip. And with that grip, it really helps me on the curves. If those curves did not exist, then this mouse would just be horrible for that type of grip. But once again, if you're a claw user that has a medium to large size in hand, I would definitely recommend this over other budget options. Honestly, I have not reviewed too many budget mice, but if you had to choose between this and the Viper Ultimate, I would definitely pick this up in my opinion, since it's lighter and has a newer sensor. But the Viper Ultimate overall is a good deal too, so it's really up to your own decision, but I do prefer the smaller size over the original Razer Viper. So let's get into the quality of the mouse. For being $50, you would expect a lot of quality issues, but in my report, there has been none, basically. Besides one minor detail in the feet, if you can see, there's a little indentation on the left top corner, and it's a bit wavy and out of place, and I feel like it does scratch my mouse pad slightly, and that's just how it came out of the box, so I'm very confused there. Looks like a person just manually put the feet on rather than like a machine or something on a production line, which I don't know how they apply their feet. Maybe it is by person, and that person needs to work on their feet applying job, because it's not even and it kind of ruins the experience slightly with the feet itself. And they also include glass feet into the package, which I threw out instantly, because do not use glass feet. They will destroy your pads. I am the #1 glass mouse feet hater, and just throw them away. Don't use them, don't buy them, because your pads will suffer. But saying that, it's nice that they include it if you do want to destroy your pads. It's cool that they include it, especially for 50 bucks. It's not bad at all. But that's pretty much it for this mouse itself. The highlights are the side buttons are not that good. They're very hollow, but they do work and they are consistent. So that's a plus. The switches are very good. The overall mouse design is fine. I do wish they will lower in weight because I feel like the extra weight's just not needed. You can really hollow this thing out and improve it. But for 50 bucks, you cannot complain. And if you're looking for a budget option for a gaming mouse, I would 100% pick this up. So yeah, thanks to MechaKeys for sending this out for a review. And let's get into the Kurosun pad. So I'm not going to go too in depth with the Kurosun pad since I do want to make a long-term video on this after the release date. But I did want to get my impressions out there for anyone wondering if they should pick this up. And the short answer is yes. I haven't really played any games with this yet, but out of the box it's extremely smooth and the speed is around of like an extra soft Raiden or a bit of a worn-in Raiden, so I feel like the speed could be upped up in the future, but it's still a great pad and I think a lot of people are going to love it, especially from the stitch quality, the base quality, and the surface. So right away, the surface is very unique. It's hard to compare to anything on the market. I would say if you would compare a Hyateyatsu and a P51 together, you may get a similar experience to this. It's basically like a, let's say, a Venus or a Hyateyatsu smoothed out to the extreme. So it kind of gives off a plasticky feeling and sound to it, but that's not a negative thing. It's very smooth and offers some speed to it. And I do believe the process that they achieve this, well, I do know how they do that, but I'm not going to release that in this video. It should improve durability or kind of resist durability, and which is another plus I don't think people are going to notice really or talk about, but it's definitely a unique surface and I love the unboxing experience and the overall artistic value that this company has. And I will say the owner Kix has a lot of experience with this mousepad making scene. He's been working on this project for a long time and I definitely would invest into his brand or just this mousepad alone. But this base is an alpha cell base. It's their recent version, so it has a slightly different texture and they have a thinner version. So a lot of people have been talking about inconsistencies of alpha cell. And I've experienced this too in slight manner of their previous versions. And it's a bit of a hard experience to describe, but it's more of a vertical tug between the surface and the base, which causes issues down the road in, well, your performance and being consistent. But since this is a very smooth, like hybrid-like plastically feel, I can't say that word right, but ignore I said that, it's basically not going to be as prevalent as other mouse pads. So cloth mouse pads, especially fuzzy soft ones, you're going to notice that tug and inconsistent gameplay very much in those. But especially since this pad is only 3mm, it's not going to be very prevalent. So I wouldn't worry about that at all, honestly. It has a slight plush, but it's a very mid-feeling pad considering how thin it is at 3mm. But that's pretty much it I wanted to say on this pad, and I would definitely check them out. It's a new company coming at $50, which I do think is a bit steep, but the quality is here, and you're buying a pad from an owner that's very passionate. So thanks guys for watching, and I will do a future review on this pad in the future. And thanks guys for watching. Peace out.